another Chick Chat. We're back with Sister Wives episode 7, and we're starting this episode back off with more Kody and Meri. You know, I've seen more of Kody and Meri together in this season more than any other.
I know. It's very interesting, isn't it? They seem to get along in this episode, which was also very interesting. So we'll see. I don't know. But yeah, Meri's gonna move.
She's getting rid of all of her furniture and she's giving it to her sister and brother-in-law, or sister-in-law, brother-in-law.
It's her sister and then brother-in-law. And then her brother-in-law is supposedly best friends with Kody.
Yes, and I didn't realize who it was until they showed me it's the cross-eyed man. The scream I scrumped when I saw it was the cross-eyed man. The Future Chatters have been here since day one. This was my first Sister Wives video, was about his warning to Kody.
Yes, entitled The Cross-Eyed Man's Bleak Warning. You should go back and check it out, just your gigs, because it was kind of in the beginning, although we're still in the beginning of our journey in YouTube. But this was our first time jumping into Sister Wives, and Anne led the way, as she always does. And
no, he did.
Well, he did. And he was right. His bleak warning has panned out to be true. Kody has lost his damn mind. He's lost his damn soul. He's lost his damn religion. And now here we are, reminiscing over the past 32 years that are just disappeared.
Poof.
Her sister and brother-in-law, they're kind of feeling the gravity and the weight in this scene a little bit more than Meri is. I don't know if Meri has just already processed it. It has been a long time. It feels real final to her. She did say she cried for a while, but her faces are so concerned. It's like, everybody's got to know how bad this was, especially them. He had a bleak warning.
Definitely knew that this was on the horizon, but I think it's just hitting them like they're getting all this failure of furniture that Meri is bestowing onto them. None of this worked out for you, but hopefully it's going to work for us.
Very true. Yeah. So she talks with them a little bit about the fact that it is finally done. I hate that she keeps doing it like that.
She's lightening it up, and I think Meri's just, it is what it is.
Yeah, but it comes across as she's not taking it all in. I think she's fine, but it just comes across weird. I don't know. It's not seeming very sane to me, but I do think Meri is sane. Anyways, she talks about how her and Kody have different ideas about the timeline and about what went wrong and da-da-da. Kody pops in and he has this. He starts off again with his whole, I wasn't in love, never loved these women. If this is what it was, then I shouldn't have to have it.
I think Kody is struggling. I had this whole epiphany when I was watching these scenes between Meri and Kody when he got there. It's all making sense to me now. Kody used to be able to sprinkle his anger amongst 4 women. And now he is upset. He cannot do that anymore. He tries to anger Meri and it doesn't work. Meri can only laugh at him now. And it's bothering him, I think, to see that Meri moved on in the legit way of severing ties with him through the church, because Janelle ain't doing it that way. Christine don't care to do it that way. So now he looks bad in front of these church people that he don't care about. But for some reason, ever since they found out, he's been up Meri's butt. Ever since they called him. She texted him telling him that this church thing was going to happen. She tried talking to him several times in 10 years, never gave a crap about her. But now that Meri is free and the church has called him to tell him that he abandoned her, he's like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Can't be free and happy.
Yeah.
It's only okay for her to be sitting in that house with all of your reminiscent furniture.
He wants her to live with all of that.
Yeah, like that's her casket for the rest of her life, is to sit in that house with all of that furniture that they bought from in Vegas or whatever. Doesn't some of this have sentimental value? It's like,
no.
But at the same time, you said this whole 30 years was a waste of time. So what would be sentimental about any of it?
I have no idea. I have not a clue. That's the part that's hard for everyone to grasp, all the sister wives. That's what a lot of the undertones of this episode is that Kody has this narrative that he was never in love and everyone else thinks that that's BS. And Kody lives in both of those different worlds. He wants people to be like, isn't the things that we got and had sentimental to you, but also I never loved you and this isn't going to work. And I'm beginning to believe Kody. I think Kody is just psychotic. I don't think he's capable of love. I don't think he loves Robin. I think he's just nuts.
Yeah, and I think him and Robin aren't doing so well right now. And he says it's not a reflection of me and her. I think it's because now all this anger that used to trickle out to Christine independently, Janelle independently, and ignoring of Meri and whatnot, now it's all focused on one person.
Yeah.
And that's having a negative effect on their relationship because he can't yell at any of these people anymore. They're just going to hang up on him. Who does he go to? His little sobbing Robin. And I'm sure that's had a negative effect on their relationship. I believe that they're struggling right now.
Just his face apparently has had a negative effect on the relationship with Robin and with his kids.
Yeah, his quote unquote, I don't want to say the real word, but schmurda. Yeah, those are great ones. You know, I don't know if you've heard the tale of four sister wives.
Like the Four Horsemen?
Yeah, like that. He's sitting on a bench with his four sister wives. And for a while, it's going very well. They're on the edge of this cliff on the bench. They're at this tall mountain, beautiful view. And then one day, he stands up and looks at his wives and jumps off the cliff. That is our protagonist, Kody Brown. And then fourth wife Robin blindly jumps after him, grabs him by the hand and the cliff by the other hand, as this man is trying to just be like, no, I don't want any of this. She holds on and she's begging these other wives to help pull her up. Well, Christine sees it all go down. She just leaves. She's like, no, I ain't doing this. Goodbye. Janelle says she's got to go to the bathroom. She'll be right back. She doesn't return. And then Meri calls down, hey, you need any help? And he says, nope, too many times. And then she leaves. Robin is still waiting for her sister wife, Janelle, to come back from the bathroom and pull her up. That is a tale of four sister wives. And the choice Robin is now left with is, do you let this man fall and fall with him, or do you let him fall and pull yourself up on this cliff and live a new life? The bitch is falling.
She's falling. She ain't gonna do it.
And that, my friends, is a tale of four sister wives.
Well, I've never heard that before.
Thank you.
No, thank you.
That's Robin's reality, to be honest.
That is Robin's reality. That is true. It kind of goes back and forth a little bit between this scene with Meri and the wedding venue.
Yeah, which we thought it was going to be Gwen related, and it was Christine looking at venues before getting engaged. I cackled. This is so on brand for Christine, 100%. Of course it's for her. It obviously takes around a year to get into a wedding venue. You have to plan your date a year in advance. They got married last October, and this is the year before. Like, of course they planned their wedding before getting engaged. Of course they were looking at venues 2 months in.
I was wondering when I saw how beautiful the venue was on their wedding episode, how on earth did they manage to secure that? But I just figured that it was because they're on TV. No, they were prepared. They went looking 6 weeks into dating. Not engaged yet.
He asked her to look at rings, and she's like, let's look at venues first.
Yeah, crazy, huh?
He's already got me locked down. Her logic of it was a little unhinged, but whatever you got to do, Christine. I was like, okay, you can still get your ring and play her too.
I mean, Christine's logic was a little unhinged, but David's logic was also a little unhinged. He just wanted to be where the dinosaurs were. He had this whole story about, this is where the dinosaurs roamed, and I brought a couple ladies down here, and nobody wanted to come back. Why? It's beautiful there. What do you mean nobody wanted to come back?
What were you doing with them in there? Did you make them hike
it?
That
was the first time I ever raised my eyebrow at David. I was like, oh, why? I just want to know why. It kind of just sounded creepy. I'm sure it was fine. They just probably didn't work out. It had nothing to do with being down there. But he set his sights on the fact that anyone who wants to be where the dinosaurs roamed is the next woman he's going to marry. And so why would he wait more than 6 weeks to start playing the wedding?
He's so lucky that Christine is excited by truly anything.
Truly anything. Honestly, not truly anything. These wedding venues are gorgeous. Both of them are. And he sounds more than willing to give them to her, although he does like to give her crap, it seems like, about the whole Vegas.
He did want to go to Vegas and get married. He said that on the reunion and everything, too.
Obviously, I don't have to think. Christine obviously does not want to get married in Vegas because this stirs up the wedding conversation again. All the sister wives go over their sad weddings. I think this does just kind of easily.
Yep. We get to see Meri's regular wedding, Janelle's living room wedding, Christine's garage basement wedding, and then Robin's regular wedding. We went over this. I think our highest viewed short is us talking about these stupid weddings.
Basement wedding. Yeah, that's true. So we won't go too much into that.
The one thing that they did all agree on was that Robin was a good sister wife when it came to planning her wedding.
Yeah, and I think that was sweet.
Kody is the one that wanted that wedding to happen. So everybody was fine with that one. At least they're all on page with that. But nobody brought up the fact that Robin pulled that little dress situation. Come on,
Yeah.
guys, let's not forget about the
Yeah.
dress.
In fact, Christine did say even specifically that we were involved in every part of the process when it came to Robin's wedding. And technically they were. It's just Kody was also involved in the dress. It was a big betrayal to them at the time, huge. And I get that. It was just so weird. So in between David and Christine looking at venues, we kind of just get interwoven a lot of the wedding talk. When they talk about Christine's wedding specifically. Now, when Kody looks back at it, because it was such a sad day and because it also was a failed marriage, it makes him question all the rest of his life. And I think that that could make sense because in his mind, he's saying he never even wanted to get married to this lady.
He does say that now he realizes it's been really unfair for her because now that she's found her soulmate, she deserved to have that real experience. And if what he's saying is true, he tricked all these people.
Oh, totally.
To any of these people, I don't truly want to marry you. I'm doing this out of obligation. I'm sure a single one of them wouldn't do it.
I agree. And I wonder though if this is where they can turn the road a little bit here, if Kody's going to start agreeing that these marriages are over, that he played a role in it, even if he's just going to say, my only sin is I married women I didn't love. That's a big deal, okay? Especially when you're somebody who's in a church like you are. That's not nothing, sir.
You have to marry for love. And then to blame God in a way, he was like, then to be stuck with me for eternity, it's an insult to me to think that they want to be stuck with these people for eternity and them with me. Then marry for love.
Right.
You have nobody to blame but yourself. You chose to get married. These women were not a gift to you on your doorstep. And God said, marry them,
right.
sir, and be miserable, please.
Yeah, no, that's very much true. Nobody held a gun to Kody's head and said, you must now marry these 3 women, but you chose to.
You could say that Meri might have played a role in the other ones, but he chose this. You can't be blaming everybody and blaming people who can't even defend themselves. You think Jesus is going to get on a podcast and be like, no, sir.
Blame yourself if you don't love me.
Blame yourself, Kody Brown. Blame yourself if you don't love your own wives that you decided to marry.
Part of that is your blame. I guess I can understand his weird, bizarre, if I'm in love with a woman, it's her fault. I think that that's a misogynistic way of looking at it, but I can see his perspective, I suppose. But once you marry that person, then you're making a higher commitment than just being in love. You're making a commitment to the person, regardless of love at times, sometimes. I mean, hopefully not all day, every day, like Meri, but yeah.
You're not even just marrying them for a couple years. You're marrying them for like 25, 30 years.
Not even that. They're marrying each other for eternity. All of the years.
And with Kody's own logic, why isn't he then encouraging these other wives to get a separation through the church if he's nervous now that he's going to have to spend eternity with these people? Even though they're the people he handpicked to spend eternity with.
I don't know.
You get one life, sir. Who said you have to do this?
Nobody.
I don't understand it. And whatever. I could go into that for days, but nothing he does make sense, and he contradicts himself episode by episode. Him and Meri's relationship in general is just like really weird. During this moving of furniture, he was almost acting like Meri was like flirting with him or playing hard to get with him or something. And he was like, I'm confused by Meri. She's laughing about all this. She's lighter now.
He says the whole thing is really weird.
She's easier to get along with. I'm like, yeah, because you're not married to her anymore. What is she going to argue with you about? Divorced, that's it. You barely got anything at her house. She's just got old photos and furniture. She don't have none of your jackets or anything there, sir. It's not that big of a shift for Meri. She's been alone these 10 years. He's acting like Meri's been living in his garage or something. Like, no, Meri's been living on her own, doing her own thing for 10 years. So why is it so weird that she's pretty much over it? Although she did say something that was a little bit troubling to me. When she was talking to these people, she's like, as I would have kept doing, but it was uncomfortable for him. So we decided to end our relationship. I'm like, girl, you're still... It sounds like if he were to change his mind, he'd be right back. And it's like, girl, no.
Right.
No. You got it separated in all kinds of ways. They showed your divorce all over again, like they did for the 6th time this season, watching you sign those papers for the 10-year-old divorce. And honestly, she's right. That's when everything switched for the worse. When she lost power, when Meri was dethroned from her power.
I'm not sure that she lost power necessarily with Kody, but I do think she lost power amongst the family structure. And then there was no reason really for Kody to even try to play what does he call it? His duty. There was no reason for him to even do that anymore. He only offered his duty back to her when she was about to leave. And he's like, I'll just keep doing my duty. No, of course she's going to go get a termination or whatever they're called. And of course it's going to be an abandonment.
Yeah. She was talking about how Janelle had concerns things would change when he legally married Robin. He's like, I mean, they did. And I think that is when things really did change. I think they fundamentally changed. I think Kody, that's when he stopped going over certain places as often or as long or whatever the case is. Because you can, if you remember this dinner that they had, all of the sister wives and Kody, where he was rocking that ponytail, and it was either right when they got to Flagstaff or right before going to Flagstaff, but Christine looked sickly. Christine looked beaten down.
Yeah.
And I don't know, that's when they shifted to me. I feel like all their attitudes kind of shifted. You could see that they were all going through certain things. Like Christine and Meri just looked rode hard and put away.
Yeah. I think that was like season right after COVID, because that was one of the first episodes that I watched ever. But yeah, you're right. Everybody looked so worn down, and I don't remember who it was. Somebody was asking Kody or the family, what's the plan here? What are we all doing? We're just floating around here. No family culture like we've had for the last 20 years. Everything is just obliterated. Mm-hmm. And that's when Kody said that he wasn't even sure if he believed in the religion anymore. He gave no foundation to them. He gave no support. He didn't bring his family together. He's just, I don't even know if I care about this anymore. And if he doesn't care about this anymore, then why would he be married and go through all the trouble of being married to 4 different women? It's not easy. It can't be easy.
This could have all been orchestrated by Kody to begin with, because the conveniency of moving everybody from the houses that are right next to each other to going on this property, and then using COVID as the excuse to not see these people. So then this way the relationships will dwindle. Everybody will leave. You'll be on your sacred land with your sacred covenant.
Right.
I mean, that's my conspiracy theory. It's just a theory. It's all alleged, but yeah, I would not be shocked if this was all some kind of weird agenda from Kody from the start.
What would be the desired outcome, though?
To have a sacred covenant on his own land with that bench or whatever, like just build there with just Robin, get all of the land from the ladies, and just move in with his Robin and stay with her.
And they just would never spiritually leave him, so he could still be in the forever eternity land.
Yeah, I mean, he probably figured he'd have to build Meri a little barn dominium in the corner or something.
But technically, Kody still has 3 wives.
3.
Sealed to him to eternity. So technically, they're all still going to go to the whole eternity motherland, like the super duper heaven.
Possible.
Celestial kingdom.
Possible. I don't know what happens with David, but possible.
Yeah, there is some things about being married again, but I don't think that marriage is maybe recognized by that sector of Jesus.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe when you chick chatters can educate us on the eternity for the Browns, what that looks like for them right now.
With Meri gone, because there are technically still 3 eternal covenants sealed to Kody.
Yeah. Although they don't sound like they were made under great conditions. I mean, poor Christine, he could barely get work off for her, so.
I know.
Like, I don't think some of them should count.
I know.
That's just me.
So we get back to the venues pretty much after. We see and hear that Christina is trying to top McKelty when it comes to the wedding guest situation. And then we hear that that number actually comes from McKelty. I feel like those numbers are just too high. How in the world did McKelty need to have 300, 450 people at her wedding? But Aspen didn't have that, and Maddie didn't have that. And I get that Tony's family is big, but
it depends, because I had a cousin that she had 300 or 400 people at her wedding, but none of us had like 300 or 400 people at our wedding.
Those are people who invite everybody and their children.
Yes.
And when I say everybody and their children, I mean like
the community.
Everybody.
Well, she had a lot of friends. Her mom had a big family. I don't think her dad's side family was big, but the family she was marrying into was also really big. So pretty much the whole town was there. In fact, like we were well over capacity for the damn hall. It was outrageous. There were cops posted up outside of the venue.
I'm not saying it doesn't have like huge weddings happen, but I just think that it's outrageous these days, especially with the way that weddings cost, to expect that you're going to have 700.
I think the 700 was an exaggeration, but the 300, if she sent 450 out and she only had 300 there, that probably makes about sense. Like I don't think all of those people would show up. But
Yeah, you're supposed to expect for like I think like 15% to not. That's around right around what we got to was for 15% to not.
I think that it might look like 300. I mean, they both definitely have big families. There's 18 kids on her side, but not all those kids went.
Eventually, she talked about if it's 300, I can only invite 150 and you can. So it seemed like she was starting to settle with a number closer to that. Again, I'm not saying it's outrageous, but I feel like the way McKelty did her wedding was invite everybody and their neighbor and their kids and their cousins. And I feel like that's what she just quoted David and Christine was an invite everyone, their neighbor and their kids and their cousins.
Yeah. But it also, the numbers go up fast when you have a big family because it's not
They
just
totally do.
they're not just the inside family. It's like your mom's cousin or your mom's
That's
great
why
mom.
but you don't have to invite all those people.
The Browns do. I think because Christine's also 50 doing this, she's like, this is a celebration.
We
Wow.
saw the wedding. The family that she had there, it didn't look like it was 700 people.
I don't know. The dance floor looked like there was a lot of people there, but then again, we didn't see all of the guests at the wedding. I think it's more interesting that they're even looking at wedding venues right now than all this other stuff.
Well, I guess that's part of the reason I'm being so stubborn about this number thing. It's just you're not engaged. You're over here talking about inviting 700, even if that's an exaggeration. Let's say 5. Like let's take 200 people off of that exaggeration. 500 people to a wedding that you're not even engaged. I'm just getting frustrated that this is what they're making us watch when there's so much more that's happening to their family. Why are we doing this? Why?
See, this is quickly. Like when Kody was talking about Meri leaving, like quickly. Like, no, this is quickly.
Why so quickly?
We didn't see much of Robin or Janelle this episode, other than little talking heads every now and then.
Yeah.
Robin only really talked about Kody's not so appealing face when he's dealing with his kids. And Janelle, I don't even remember anything that she commented on, to be honest.
She said, "Oh, please," or something when Kody was going on with his narrative about not loving everyone. They gave her a little hand. She talked a little bit about not having a dress for her wedding. But yeah, there was not a whole lot of their peeping in. It was definitely the Rob Christine show today.
Oh, yeah. Cross-eyed Man did do his damnedest to try to interview Kody and Meri. And
You're very right.
He seemed a little taken back by the situation. She seemed very uncomfortable. Kody and Meri were so awkward. They did this weird awkward move. There was people falling over and laughing, and some of that conversation, I can't even tell if it was English or if it was Simlish, but
it was something, and it was flirty, but it was also passive aggressive at the same time. There was just these weird undertones, like I deliver, but then just strange things about Kody saying at least one woman in my life is happy, and Meri being like, I'm happy. You're not in his life. Maybe that's why you're happy. It was just weird. All of their interactions were weird. I'm happy for them that it was lighter, that it wasn't bitter and awkward, and they didn't have this argument in front of their people and their family. And they even did open up kind of a conversation about their divorce and their disagreements about how things played out and blah 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 in front of them, which I thought was a little too much, but they didn't argue about it. They kept it as light as possible. So I do give them props for that, but I bet it is confusing for Kody because he's dumb.
And then the moment Cross-eyed Dude's wife brings up Janelle, he was like, she doesn't even want a relationship. She's just
plumb not interested.
Yeah. I don't know if I should talk about the preview, I guess, but we're about to see that they are going to meet up for a dinner conversation. We've also heard that Kody has called Janelle. So it's not like he's not in any type of contact with Janelle. So I'm confused by the him and Janelle situation. Did they actually break up? Can we see that?
So everything that we've seen, that there's nothing official. Even Janelle won't say anything official. She just keeps blaming Kody for not responding to asking to figure out something official. But she's not said herself to Kody that they're done. Remember, she told Christine that she thinks they're done and she believes that they're done, but she's not told Kody because Kody won't answer the phone. And that's just BS. And we called it BS then. But it seems like that's still the state that they're in. So maybe that's what this next time conversation is going to be about. I hope so. Obviously, they're not going to get back together.
It truly is giving Janelle went to the bathroom. But
yeah, I mean, honestly, there's not much left of this episode. Very end, I can throw this up here. Kody does kind of recognize that regardless of the banter between him and Meri, that it did feel lighter ultimately leaving the house to just not be an asshole and not have his asshole face. So he tried to do this weird happy face, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But it seemed like it worked this time. So he's thinking he wants to just lighten up and see if that helps his life. Again, I really hope this is where he can turn a corner. And thank God for Meri for helping him to just see that if you can show up and try to put on a happy face and crack a joke once in a while, even if it's self-deprecating or a little embarrassing, then it makes things a whole lot better to get through, and it actually helps you be more authentic.
Mm-hmm.
I hope he takes a page out of Meri's book in this aspect with the rest of his family.
There's good food for thought there. I think it was funny that he does have a tendency to say he doesn't abandon these women, but then he's the first one to help them all move out. He helped Christine move out. They showed a clip of that, and he helped Meri move out.
Well, he sees that as not abandoning them. He was so proud of himself in that interview to say, "Oh, I told them all they can come whenever they want." He thinks he's such a good guy when he says that. It's not that he's a bad guy for offering help and actually being there to help them, but that's far less effort than actually solving the relationship or being married.
It's funny how he's at their beck and call now. Like now, Meri can call him to get stuff done. But when she was married to him, she had to literally take Rice Krispie treats and mold them into figures to get this man near her.
Any attention. A droplet of attention.
Yes, she had to literally do origami with Rice Krispie treats.
She did. She had to make turkeys, squares, all kinds of things.
And now he's just right at her beck and call. Like,
yeah, he's ready to help her move her things and get on over to Parowan. And, you know, what does he say the last episode? I just need her to go away.
Just move on.
I will smile at you if you go away.
I'll help load the truck.
Yep. Go away.
I'll pull in the icy driveway. When you tell me it's too icy, I'll be like,
the fact that this man asked for a shovel, everybody stood there like, I ain't shoveling. Are you shoveling? No, drive over.
He's like, yeah, I'll just shovel this little area right here.
Or drive over with your giant truck tires.
I'm like, cross-eyed man, where were you this whole time? You just came here for the scoop because you didn't have no plan on moving this furniture.
He came here for the furniture.
I know, but he had no plan himself. He just let Kody take the whole.
I know. I do think that that's funny that Meri, this whole setup was really funny. So Meri is getting rid of her furniture to her own sister. And for some reason, Kody needs to be involved to bring his own truck and his own trailer to bring the things physically himself into that trailer and then drive it over to the other place as if all of this is his problem. I don't know if any of this would be happening in real life if they were filming or not, but it's a funny situation.
And the whole time he's all happy-go-lucky and stuff. It was just
he feels great. He probably feels good to get out of Robin's house. I think that maybe he's starting to remember why he enjoyed having a plural marriage, because he could sort of pop around when things got tense, but things were never tense with Robin, so he just wanted to stay there all the time. But now things are tense with Robin, and he seems to be lightening up with Meri, which I hope this doesn't happen beyond this, but
no, I don't think it will.
Yeah, they're terminated.
They are terminated. I just think he puts on a different face when he's around people. I think he feels and acts differently when he's around third parties and the wives. Because even when you would see him, when he had all of his wives, he would go on these trips. He would be so attentive to all of them in front of other people.
Yeah.
And then it was different when they got home. So I don't know. That's more or less what I think. But what do we got for next time, Miss Brooke?
Next time, Meri is apparently pole dancing for her birthday. I don't think that's for real, but she said something about pole dancing and being single. And David is going to come to Christine's house for dinner with all her kids. And Janelle calls Robin Kody's sacred cow and ponders how in the world Kody could be in a relationship with her, Janelle, when he has such a sacred cow. And Kody says Janelle likes to call herself the victim.
He had a great soundbite. I was like, I'm surprised we didn't see this soundbite in the trailer where he said, Janelle has this card. It says victim on it. She likes to play it. Okay.
That was a good one. So I'm very hopeful that this is the conversation where Janelle informs Kody that their relationship is over, and that's probably why they're talking about Robin and this whole back and forth, because I think we did see in the season preview, this is where Kody is going to ask, why don't we just try to work it out, me and you?
Yeah, and it's going to be so hard for me to focus on the conversation because of the ginormous chicken sandwich that Janelle has. Yeah,
I know. The sandwich room. The room in the sandwich. She's in this little dollhouse looking room.
The residential house restaurant. Remember they went there for a Christine dinner.
Sure. It looks like the house in Parowan, but it's certainly not. But...
I don't know.
It's
No.
like it's this weird dollhouse, and then she's eating this giant sandwich, and hopefully they're about to have a breakup conversation.
Yeah, they've been there before.
I remember now, but it's still weird.
Yeah, well, when we go to Flagstaff, we'll have to hit that spot.
I think we should. Yeah.
It's a restaurant.
Yeah.
And order the chicken sandwich.
It's large, and we could probably split it. Soup on the side.
I think she did have a soup with it.
You can never go wrong with that. That's all I ate when I lived in Paris for a week. I learned when I lived there that every morning, if you go and collect a fresh baguette, you can make yourself a sandwich. That bread is fresh every day in the morning. And you can just follow that with your nose until you find it. Collect warm, fresh bread. You just follow your nose to the smell. You buy it. You go back. You stop at the little market. You get yourself some jelly, some butter. You toast it. You have breakfast. You go out. You do Paris things. You come back. You take the other half of the baguette. You put ham in it. You put Swiss in it. You have that for lunch. You go out in Paris. You go somewhere to eat. You sit outside. It's a great time when I lived in Paris for a week. See, I have the culture down pat. I'm basically a Parisian.
Is that what they're called?
Yes, we're called Parisian. Okay, I'm done. I'm sorry to all Parisians watching. I'm not a Parisian.
Thank you, Chick Chat, for joining us. On that note, we're going to leave you on. So catch us on next week's recap. Remember to like, subscribe, share, click the share button, copy the link. You haven't even got to share it, but if you do, that's great. And reduce, reuse, recycle, Rihanna, and goodbye.
Bye-bye.